me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. And I'm thinking about tomorrow is the last week of the regular season of NFL football. The Lions play, obviously, they didn't make the playoffs, so they play the their last game of the season tomorrow. And I don't even care. And it's not the fact that they're like losing. If it low-key gives it feels like they don't, not to sound like a coach, but it feels like they don't want it enough. You know what I mean? Like they're not, I don't know what happened. They're not hungry for it, at least in my opinion. Like, maybe at the beginning of the season, but as the season has progressed, I think they gave up somewhere along the way. And so it's just like, it's not even enjoyable to watch, you know? Like, I think they've lost 3 straight games now. Is that disappointing? Yeah. But what's more disappointing is watching the games and watching them just like, it's like careless mistakes, you know? Like, it's not even like they're giving it their all, and sometimes you're just not the best team on the field that day. It doesn't even give we're trying our best, you know? Like, it's just sad to watch. Like, I don't know, I know they play the Bears tomorrow. I don't know what time. Yeah. They, obviously they put out, like, the practice report and, like, who's questionable in play, who's out, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even look at it. At this point, it's like, you're already out of the playoffs. If somebody needs to sit out, at this point, in my opinion, treat it as a fucking preseason game. Don't put anybody crucial to the team out there. Because you fuck around in the last game of the season that realistically doesn't mean anything for you at this point. You fuck around, put somebody out there that you need, and they fucking tear their Achilles like Brian Branch. Now, you're fucked into next year. Like, Brian Branch isn't going to be back till, like, mid-season, if not later. So it's, like, I don't know. Like I said, treat it like a preseason game. It don't matter. There's no win or lose. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's the most disappointing part, is it doesn't seem like they're trying. What I will say is this season I've really enjoyed watching Jameson Williams this season. I think they talked about, like, all summer, like, in the off season, they talked about how J-Mo made, like, how he's improved so much, and, like, he's made these huge strides, and, like, I feel like watching him this season, like, you can tell. Like, you can tell that he put in the work. He was so enjoyable to watch this season, and I like that it seemed like there were games where, especially towards, like, the end of the season, like, realistically, when Dan Campbell started calling plays, he was so much more involved, and I don't know, he's just really fun to watch for me. And this is less about football, more about Jameson Williams as a person, I guess, and a player. I've said it before, but Jameson Williams is like, he's almost like a litmus test to me. And if you don't know what litmus test means, it's a chemistry term. It's a little piece of paper that determines whether a solution is acidic or alkaline. So, in my mind, Jameson Williams is a litmus test for, are you low-key racist? Hear me out. I'm not saying you have to like Jameson Williams. Has he made some questionable, irresponsible choices? Yes, he has. But you know what? I think that people are, and I understand, you're a professional athlete, everybody's looking at you. Your actions are going to be more scrutinized than anybody else. Well, I mean, if you're famous just in general, not even just being a professional athlete, but your actions are going to be scrutinized more than anyone else. I get that. But with Jameson Williams, like I said, you don't have to like him. I understand why some people are like, he's too immature or whatever. I understand that aspect of it. What I will side-eye you about is the way that you say you don't, or the way that you talk about him, the way that you say you don't like him. Because if you're like, if it's just like, yeah, I don't know, I think he's a little too immature for the team. I think maybe he needs to grow up a little. I can't disagree with that. However, some people will get on Twitter, get on Facebook, and start calling him names. Calling him a thug. I don't like that. I don't like the connotation that word has, and I don't like that you're casually referring to someone you don't even know. You don't know him as a thug. Right. So as I said, you don't have to like Jameson Williams, but the way that you go about it tells me a lot, I think. I'm sorry if you can hear my mouth being dry. I took my Vyvanse and now it's the Sahara Desert in there. But yeah. And my opinion on Jameson, I love Jameson Williams. End of sentence. Period. Exclamation point. I love Jameson Williams. Not only, like I said, he's been really fun to watch this season. I think he was fun to watch last season, when they did get him involved. But I think the mistakes he's made, the issue with carrying the gun wrong, and the issue with the sports betting, I don't think that those mistakes are indicative of his character at all. Like, I don't think that looking at those mistakes says that he's a bad person. And I feel like people act like they do. And it's like, I know to some extent age is not an excuse, and I'm sure he would say the same thing. Age is not an excuse, I'm aware of that, but he is really young. I think he's a little bit younger than me. He's 24, yeah, so he's a year younger than me. And I don't know, and like, I don't know, I just think I do think he's a little immature maybe, and has poor decision-making skills sometimes, but, and I've said it before, as a Jameson Williams defense attorney at this point, like, when on old Stan Twitter, they'd be like, blank defense squad, I'm on the Jameson Williams defense squad, like, don't piss me off. Where was I going with this? Oh, but the two big things that I think influence people's opinion of him the most is, and then I guess the issue with the performance-enhancing drugs, which he says was his ADHD medication. And I wholeheartedly believe that boy has ADHD. Well, he's not that much younger. That man has ADHD. Like, so, I don't know. So were there three suspensions that I can think of? Yes. But as I said, I think he just needs to grow up and make better choices. That's what I think. And there's a reason that Dan Campbell, like, wholeheartedly defends him, because he knows him. He knows him as a person. And he knows that, like, he can do better than that. He knows that that's not who he is. That's just poor choices he's made. And I believe that, because none of the things he's done point to him being, like, a violent person. I don't look at him as somebody who, like, has hurt anybody. He's just made bad choices. The only person his bad choices have impacted was him. He's like, he hasn't hurt anybody. And you know what? A lot of teams, y'all have domestic abusers and rapists on your team. I'm I'm looking at you, Rishi Rice. Yeah, and y'all are worried about Jameson Williams? Y'all are worried about Jameson Williams, who has made some poor choices, but has never hurt anybody? Piss me off. I just think he seems like such a nice person. He really does. And, like, all the work he does in the community, and people, like, rave about the way that he's just embraced the city, and he's so involved in the community. And he had that, he did that coat drive for kids, like, just this past month, I think. But he seems like a genuinely good person with a genuinely good heart. And I don't know. He reminds me of, he's like that kid in school, like that kid that's fucking in your chemistry class that, like, can't sit still, can't stop talking, can't be serious. Like, but, like, there's those kids that the teachers still like them. Even though they fucking get on their nerves and they can't shut up in class, the teachers still like them because they're like, oh, this is a good kid. Like, this is a good kid. And he reminds me of that kid. And, like, those kids in high school were always so cool. Like, they didn't really bother anybody. They just were deeply unserious. But, like, he's like the kid that you let him copy your classwork, and he's like, oh, thank you, and he's, like, nice about it. And then if somebody tries to mess with you, he's like, whoa, that's my friend. He reminds me of those kind of people in school, and I have a special place in my heart for those people as a, I wouldn't say weird person in high school, but I was quiet, which I think that made me seem weird. And don't get me wrong, I was never bullied in school. Like, I won't sit here and try to tell you I was bullied in school. That did not happen. There were just, like, little moments here and there where it was like it was literally, like, little comments. Like, you know when someone's talking to you and you can tell that they're, like, making fun of you? It's like when people ask you out as a joke. A horrible feeling. Especially when, at some point, like, it happens the first few times and you don't catch on. Like, maybe the first 1 or 2 times. But then after that, you start to be like, oh, this is a joke. Like, they think it's funny. They sent their friend over here to ask me out because they think it's funny. Cool. So that does wonders for your self-esteem. But also, where I was going with Jameson Williams, so off track. There would be, like, those kids who would just, like, make weird comments where you could tell they were low-key making fun of you. And there were a lot of kids like Jameson Williams in my classes and in my school who weren't like that and would call you out about it. I'm a little bitch. I wasn't gonna do it, but this kid who probably barely knows my name but knows that I let him copy my classwork every day, he's not gonna have that. He said, this is my friend. This is my friend. You better chill on my friend. And then they did. So I have a special place in my heart for Jameson Williams. He reminds me a lot of those kids. And I would let him copy my chemistry homework. If he asked me to, I would. Yeah. 14-minute rant about the Lions, and I'm pretty sure 10 minutes of that was about Jameson Williams. So, yeah. Another thing that I have been into is the Titanic. I've fallen down this rabbit hole. There's that TikTok edit of the Carpathia to that song that's like, it's like, wait for me, something like that. It's a TikTok edit that everybody's, if you're on Titanic TikTok, like I am, everybody's talking about it, about how it low-key, it like made them tear up a little bit. So, oh yeah, I've been into Titanic recently, and I did go through, like, I feel like boys have like those weird phases as teenagers, like like that trend that was like, this is my Roman Empire, like that boy, like this is the thing that I think about all the time, which I guess I wouldn't say that Titanic is my Roman Empire. That's like the wrong way to describe it, but it is like those boys who were like really into World War II for some reason, or World War I, or anything like that. They were really into that, and like I've watched multiple documentaries about the Titanic. That's what I'm trying to get at, is I had a Titanic phase. And I've only seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I've only seen the movie once, and I was pretty young. Don't give a fuck about that movie. But I have seen multiple Titanic documentaries, because I don't know, something about it just is so fascinating in such a sad way. Like the way that people really truly believed that this ship was unsinkable. Like, and that's so ironic to me that they called this ship unsinkable. Like, that's the Titanic. This new ship, it's like the safest ship. It's like the safest ship. It's unsinkable. But it's like, I don't know. It's such a tragedy, and I don't want to say unique. There's probably other, I don't know, passenger ships that have sunk, maybe? There probably is. I don't know if there's any as big as the Titanic, like physically, but also like lore-wise. Like, everybody knows about the Titanic. When did it sink? It was April 1912. When did the Titanic sink? April 14th, 1912. Oh, and then it sunk into April 15th. So, it sunk, like, late in the night. Damn, it's been over 100 years, and we're still... Do you think, like, the people that died that night, I wonder if... this is probably not what they were thinking about, because, survival, but I would be... Imagine, like that people are still talking about this over 100 years after it happened. That's just crazy to me. But it's so sad. And I every time I think that I understand what happened, I like read something else, or I watch a different documentary, or I watch a different video about it, and I realize, like, there's so many explanations or like different perspectives or different interpretations that I feel like I don't even for sure know what the fuck happened at this point. But I remember I watched this documentary in high school about the Titanic, and they were talking about how, I think I've read a lot of, like, I don't know if it's conflicting information or if it's just different parts of the correct puzzle, if that makes sense. But I heard a lot about why they hit the iceberg. And when I was watching this documentary in high school, they were saying that aside from it being dark, it was probably hard to see the iceberg because there was a mirage from the, I guess, the water and the light and the, I don't know how to describe this. Why did the Titanic hit the iceberg? I also think it's really ironic and kind of crazy that that if the Titanic hadn't turned, like if they would have just let the boat hit the iceberg head on, it wouldn't have sunk, or it wouldn't have sunk that fast, at least. The fact that they tried to turn away from it and scraped the whole side of the ship with the iceberg led to their demise. Ooh, so so it hit the iceberg due to a combination of factors. Apparently it was going really fast. For it to be, and I'm not trying to victim blame, did the captain die? He's for sure dead now. Did the captain of the Titanic die on the boat? I know he's dead now. Okay, yeah, he did die on the boat. I'm not trying to, like, victim blame. However, The ship was going really fast in an area of water where they knew there were iceberg warnings. So, I mean, I don't want to say it was his fault, but also that's a really risky thing to do when you are holding the lives of thousands of people. Like, I don't know, I'm no ship captain, but I think that if there were iceberg warnings in the water that I'm currently passing through, I probably would slow my speed down. But that's just me personally. That's what I would do if I was captain of the ship, which clearly I'm not. I haven't been on a boat since I was like 9. But yeah. And the other thing, okay, so I watched obviously they could communicate with other ships, obviously Morse code and whatever. They could send signals to other ships. I watched the transcription of the communication signals between the Titanic and the surrounding ships from the night that it sunk. And it was just so, like, it was really interesting in a really sad way. Like it was, like, I hate using this word because it feels so corny, but it was haunting. You know what I mean? Like, they start out and it's like they're sending out, like, messages from the passengers to, like, the mainland. So they're sending out messages and it's like, oh, we'll see you soon in New York. Well, we will see you. We'll get dinner when we see you. Love you. It was just shit like that, like personal messages from the passengers. And you see, and I'm assuming they probably cut out the ones before this because they don't really matter, as far as, like, the sinking of the ship goes. But you see the first message that goes out, which is like, oh, we'll have to get dinner when we get to New York, blah, 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 blah. And then there's a second message that they start to, like, send out, and then they stop in the middle of it, and they start sending out, what is it? What does it stand for? They start sending out CQD, which is, I didn't know that this term existed until I watched this transcription, but it was like kind of like the OG SOS, which, interesting thing about SOS that I learned watching that video. But CQD is a distress signal used by ships that stands for come quick danger. So they immediately stopped sending out that second message from one of the passengers, and it's immediately just like CQD, 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 CQD. This is Titanic. And it's really interesting to see, because you can really tell as time goes on, you can see the messages get more and more frantic and more panicked. Like, he uses CQD for the most part until quite a ways through the night, and then he starts throwing in the SOS, and he's doing, like, alternating between the two. And I learned, as far as SOS, a lot of people think it means save our souls or save our ships. It doesn't mean anything. SOS doesn't stand for anything. It is just, because of the way it's transmitted in Morse code, you're hearing a lot of, like, beeping and clicking. Obviously, you're working in the little transmission communication booth. Obviously, you're hearing a lot go on. Apparently, SOS, the transmission of it is really distinct, and, like, you can pick it out right away. So that's why they kind of pivoted towards SOS from CQD, because it's so, like, you hear it immediately and you know what it is. It just stands out like that, which I thought was really interesting. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Which I thought was really interesting, because I always thought that it stood for something. I don't know what I thought it stood for, but yeah, that's what it stands for. So yeah, you can see him getting more and more panicked through, like, as time goes on, as the ship starts to take on more water, and as they really start to, like, realize, oh, this is really bad. So they start sending out, like, all these distress signals, and they're like, somebody please come help us, somebody please. And of course, a lot of the other ships are quite far. There were some, the big one that people always think of that came was, the Carpathia came to their rescue. But the Carpathia wasn't the closest ship to them. It took them 4 hours to get there. And when the Carpathia did get there, obviously the ship had sunk, but they were able to, like, get all the people off of the lifeboats, all the survivors, really, and get them on board. So the Carpathia, I think they saved about 700 people, but they were not the closest ship. There was one, I don't remember what the other one was called. It was like Fort something, but it was quite a ways further than the Carpathia, and they still came. I think it took them like 11 hours to get there, and by the time they got there, like, there was another ship that came too. It was like, they came too late to be able to help or to do anything, and they both kind of got there, like, the next day, and we're kind of just like, all you can do is collect whatever bodies are floating around, holding on to, like, debris. So that's suppressing. I thought my mouth is so dry. I never knew this, but there was a ship, the Carpathia, it took them 4 hours to get there. They were quite a ways away. And by the way, this is what the edit on TikTok that's going around is about the Carpathia, and, like, the way that they got, like, the Carpathia's max speed was something, it was supposed to be like 14 knots or something. That was supposed to be its top speed. But that night, the Carpathia got up to 17 knots. And it, like, damaged their engines so bad that it never even got up to top speed again after that night. But they were trying so hard to get there as soon as possible to do something to save, like, as many people as they could. And that's just insane to me. Like, that they were able to do that. It feels like a miracle, almost. And, like, the captain, I guess, said something like, it felt like my hand wasn't the only hand on the wheel that night. Which is so, like, I'm not religious, but, like, I don't know, something about the whole thing with the Carpathia makes me a little teary, like, and, I don't know how true this is, but I read on TikTok, that the passengers of the Carpathia, like, had, like, blankets ready, warm drinks, they had toys ready in case any of the children or survivors were children. Like, they had all this shit ready to take on, like, all these passengers. Like, the passengers themselves, like, were helping. Like, they weren't, you would think that everyone would be, like, pissed off and inconvenienced, like, why are we turning the ship around? And I'm sure maybe some people were. But the fact that, like, so many people just were, like, just wanted to help. I don't know, shit like this, like, displays of humanity make me a little bit teary, a little bit emotional. Like, big things like that, obviously, but, like, even just those little displays of, like, at the end of the day, we're all human. And that sounds stupid, but it's like, when you see those little things, one of those acts of, like, human to human, it's just, like, pure, I don't know how to describe it. It's, like, pure humanity. I don't know. I just think it's beautiful. Like, the fact that they did that, and the fact that they worked so hard to get that damn boat there. like they were pushing the ship so to like its maximum capabilities, and not only that, but like the transmission signals, like I said, I was watching the transcript of all the communication signals that the Titanic sent out that night, and like you can see the Carpathia, some of the other ships too, like repeating the Titanic's, like Titanic is sending out a CQD at this position, and just like really trying to make sure that anybody and everybody who might be nearby this ship heard this warning, not warning, but like heard this distress signal. And maybe that's probably what like ships are supposed to do, but something about it like also was just like, take a shot every time I say like, something about it was just, I don't know, little shit like that, like helping each other. Oh, but there was a ship, this is really sad, there was a ship super close to the Titanic, I guess, like would have taken them a half hour to get there, called the Californian. They would, I think what I saw two conflicting stories, and I did not fact check either of them. So I saw one that said, oh no, I think they both did say that the like the communications, the guy who sits in the little booth thing and like gets the signals, sends them out, like the guy who does the communicating between ships, had already like shut everything down and gone to bed at like 10:30, and the Titanic started to sink like an hour or two later. So they didn't know, like the other ship, the one that could have turned around and saved probably almost everybody, they didn't know. That really like, that kind of fucked with me a little bit, because like all these other ships like still had their shit on, they were still communicating back and forth, but it's like the closest ship, the one who could have saved the most lives, easily the most lives, they didn't have, like they didn't know. They had shut their communication down for the night. And that's just one of those things that's like, why? You know? Like, not why did they do that, but like, why in the grand scheme of things? Why did it have to be that ship? The one closest to them. Closest by far. I saw something too about why didn't the Californian help the Titanic? Ugh, I'm not reading your essay. I guess the Californian was stopped due to ice conditions, and that the wireless operator had gone off duty for the night, which meant that the crucial distress signals from the Titanic were never received, including the Titanic sent off the SOS like rockets, like the lights, and the Californians saw them, but they didn't interpret them as distress signals, which, by the way, that kind of blows my mind too, because you're seeing lights on the Titanic. Apparently that was only 20 miles away, and you don't interpret them. Okay, you don't interpret them as distress signals. Sure, maybe you don't go down back into the like the communication booth or whatever and like crank it back up a little bit so you can hear and see maybe what's going on. That didn't occur. That's what I would do if I saw that. I would say, ooh, I don't know if that means they're in trouble or if they're just celebrating. Let me go find out. Right. That's fine. It is what it is. But I guess also, I guess it was not a very big ship. And that the crew was not prepared to handle a situation like the Titanic disaster. But still, hear me out. I mean, obviously, it's like it could have done something. Like, they could have saved so many lives if they just fucking turned around and got over there. Like, they, obviously the Titanic put all those passengers on lifeboats, which also, in the transcription, like, obviously he's communicating what's going on. He's telling them, like, we're putting the women in boats, we're putting the children in boats, like, we're launching lifeboat number whatever is launching. Oh, and really got me is, like, the way that the very last message just cuts out. And he's like the ship's filling with water, the room is filling with water, he's still sending out communication, and he's still like, the engine room is filling with water, like, we don't have much, like, the ship is going to sink, the ship is sinking, like, fast, the ship is sinking fast, and you can see all the communication from the other ships, and they're all like, I'm talking to my captain, the captain has ordered us to turn around, like, we're coming to help, we're this far away, this is how long it's going to take us to get there. And it's like, all of them are like, hours. It's going to take us hours to get there. And they still came. I feel like a lot of these captains had to have known, like, with the damage the Titanic took, and based on the fact that the communications he was sending out was like, we're sinking fast, this is what happened, and this was only over the course of, like, 3 hours, so it, like, progressed very quickly. So they had to have known the extent of the damage, and the fact that they turned around and went, a lot of them turned around and went anyways, knowing that they were hours away. I don't know, something about that just gets me. Something about it just make me a little teary-eyed. Yeah, so I've been really into the Titanic lore right now. Yeah. So there's that. My Titanic phase back in full swing. I might find another documentary to watch, because it's so interesting the way that there's just so many little aspects of the story that, like, there's so many little things that had to go wrong, and a lot of it was human error. A lot of it was on the captain. A lot of it could have been avoided if not for the captain. What's his name? Captain Edward John Smith. Generic ass name. Apparently they never recovered his body, and the circumstances of his death are still, we still don't know. Some people say he died in the water, some people say he jumped, or he was swept away by the waves, but we don't know. The other thing that's crazy to me too is the way that, like, the ship, like, seeing the ship underwater after all these years, it's so, I don't know, again, it's so haunting to know that so many people, like, this was supposed to be such a luxury. So many people got on the ship thinking, oh, we're sailing to New York. Like, they danced in this dance hall, they ate dinner in this fucking dining room, they slept in this cabin, and now it's a graveyard, you know? Like, that really just fucks with me a little bit. So, I don't know, that's what I've been into as far as the Titanic goes. What else do I got going on? I meant to finish this yesterday for Sydney, but then I tried, but then I talked about Percy Jackson for 45 minutes, which is somehow what I always do. It all comes back to Percy Jackson, it always has. I'm gonna try really hard to not do that again, but yeah, today I'm gonna be ranking my friends' exes. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a joke. I could, though. Ooh, I could. I have a lot of opinions. Damn, I don't know what the fuck to talk about. How about we talk about how First of all, that vision coverage is separate from the rest of my healthcare coverage. Are my eyes not part of my health? Because if I go blind, or if one of my eyeballs falls out, that's gonna impact my health. So why don't... And what really... Two things that really irk me is, one, I can't figure out how to log in to the website that my vision insurance is through, and I just want to go to the fucking eye doctor. It shouldn't be this hard to go to the fucking eye doctor, but I don't know who takes my insurance, so I was going to go through the website, and also I don't think I have the member ID. So how do I... I'm tired. I was up till 3 a.m. doing Secret Santa, and then talking about all my problems with my two best friends, which is somehow when we stay up past like 1 a.m., you know, you stay up past 1 a.m. with somebody, shit eventually starts to get too real. Yeah. So I was up till 3 a.m. I'm really tired. I hate when I do this to myself. I'm so tired. I have 3 stimulants in my system right now. I took my Vyvanse, I'm drinking this energy drink, and I bought a fucking vape for that little hit of nicotine. I can't even really get into vaping like that, for real, because I don't know if and I'm not saying that I want a nicotine addiction. I am saying I don't understand why I don't have one. Anytime I do, like, vape, even semi-consistently, like, I don't know, maybe it takes longer to develop. Excuse me. Maybe it takes longer to develop an addiction, but I'll vape for, like, a week, and then I'll be like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then I usually just give it to Chaz. So, I don't know, there's something with me where I just can't get addicted to it, which is, I don't know, it's probably a good thing to not have an addictive personality. Anyways, I'm rocking with 3 stimulants right now. I'm so fucking tired. This is really bold of me because, like, just a few months ago, I don't know what the fuck I did. I created some devil concoction that did not agree with my body and my nervous system. And I for sure truly thought that I was gonna have a heart attack or something and that I needed to go to the doctor. I was at work and I was Googling. I didn't have a car, so I would have been on foot, but I was Googling urgent care near me. Like, that's how scared I was that I was gonna have a heart attack or my heart was gonna explode. I walked down the hall and made my coworker take my pulse and my blood pressure. My pulse was in the 150s, which not where mine usually is. My resting heart rate's usually between 90 and 100. My pulse is always like a little high. My blood pressure is always so good. Like, the doctors always compliment my blood pressure. Weird thing to compliment, but they're always like, your blood pressure is so low. So low. Dog, I'm so tired. I need to chug some more of this fucking energy drink. I was just talking with a customer about one of my favorite subjects, which is when I went to Lollapalooza this summer. And you know, the way that I talk about it and the way that honestly me and my friends talk about it together, you would think it was the pinnacle of our lives, which it kind of was. It was just 3 3.5 days of pure joy, pure fun, pure giggles and glitter. It was everything I could have hoped for. And I miss it every day. I think I miss the no responsibility. I work every day, all 7 days of the week. I miss the no responsibilities. I think I took a week off of work. So, like, Lollapalooza's Thursday through Sunday. We left Wednesday after work. We took the train from Ann Arbor to Chicago. The train was one of the highlights for me. I love that damn train. And you know what's crazy is I think it's like a 6-hour train ride. By like hour 4 or 5, I was like, please get me off this train. But it's just because my butt hurt. Like, the seats weren't super comfortable. And I don't have a lot of padding back there to work with. So, yeah, my tailbone was hurting. I will be the first to admit that. We got on the train, and it was a sold-out train, so it was me, Chaz, and Sydney. We went down Wednesday afternoon because we were the only ones who had tickets for all 4 days. So we went down Wednesday evening, I guess. And we got on the train. What was I fucking saying? Oh, it was a sold-out train. I think the majority of people on that train were going to Lolla. But, first of all, we get to the train station. None of us have ever taken a train before. So we're all like, what the fuck do we do? And then Chaz went up to the window to the lady behind it and was like, I've never taken a train before. What do I do? And, like, that's a really practical way to ask. And it was good that she did ask because we were confused. But the way that she asked is so funny. Like, social anxiety is truly scared of Chaz. That's what that is. Yeah, I'm being interrogated in the group chat about this damn vape. Why do I have it? Because nicotine, and I'm really tired, and you know what's scaring me? I took my Vyvanse around 9. I drank about half this energy drink, and I've been smoking on this vape, puffing on this vape, and I think that soon, if not we're in the midst of the Vyvanse actually kicking in. I'm really impatient, and I was so fucking tired. I was like, I can't wait for the Vyvanse. I was like, it's not working. It's not working, because I swear there are some days I take it and it doesn't work. I swear there are some sugar pills. They gave me some sugar pills at the pharmacy, just a few random ones to, like, keep me on my toes. But occasionally, I swear they just don't work. Fuck. I was saying something about the train. Oh, social anxiety is scared of Chaz. But when the train came, sold out train, so, like, we didn't get to sit together. We kind of just had to find random seats. And the random seat that I chose was next to, he had to have kids. He was giving dad. He had father vibes. Because I can't reach very far above my head. And we got on the train. I think I had 2 bags. I think I had a small duffel bag and a backpack, because I'm not a real adult and I don't own a suitcase. And I couldn't, it being a sold out train, there was bags everywhere. And who was it? I don't know, it might have been Sydney, but she was like, hey, if you turn that bag on its side, like, you can fit your stuff right there. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think she's right. However, the obvious challenge is that I can't reach it. I could reach the shelf enough that I could probably push my stuff up there. I could not reach it enough to turn the bag on its side. It was also on the other side of the row, so I would have had to, like, reach over the people sitting under it, and I was for sure gonna whack them in the head with it. And then I gotta sit next to them for 6 hours. I'm not doing that. I would have to get off the train and wait for the next one. But the random dad that I was gonna sit by helped me. He got up and he flipped the bag for me, and then he put his stuff over there so I could put my stuff above us. That's my father. We were calling him Unc the whole time because we obviously we have a little group chat, and the whole time we're texting in it because we're not sitting together, so we gotta talk about the train somehow. The person Chaz sat next to smelled like piss. Person Sydney sat next to, dead silent. I don't think he said a word to her the whole time. And then I was sitting by Unc. So we had a variety of cast, and so to repay the favor that Unc did me, we went and got food from the little cafe car. He did before. Me versus trying to tell a story in chronological order without backtracking, who will win? I have yet to win. Telling story in chronological order without having to backtrack is undefeated against me. But he went to get food first, and I don't know, the smell was making me kind of hungry, so I was like, guys, let's take an adventure. So we went to get food, and then we came back, we ate our food. There's like in little trays. I felt like I was in school. But we came back and ate our food, and then he had finished his food by this point. I finished my food. I got up. I said, hey, you want me to throw that away? He said, oh, yeah, thanks. So then I felt like we were cool. We didn't really speak to each other, but I felt like we were cool. Unc made me feel so safe on that train. Like, shout out to him. So that was the train. Also, the bathroom on the train was spaceship-like. It was crazy. Me and Sydney went in the bathroom, and we were like, holy shit, like the door slid open. You just walk up to it, and it just slid open. And then we went in the bathroom, and it was like the lighting was weird in there. Everything was like chrome. Everything was automatic. Like, I swear to God, I didn't touch anything in that bathroom. It was wild. It was an experience. Like, I don't remember, one of us went in first and then came out and was like, bro, it's a fucking spaceship in there. And it was. That was like the talk of the town for at least 5 minutes after that. We told Chaz, like, dude, you have to go look at the bathroom. Like, it's a fucking spaceship in there. And she goes, I can't wait to vape in there. Right. One thing about Chaz, she's gonna hit that vape. One thing about her. So, you know, bathroom. So I don't think anything else exciting happened on the train. Chaz's seatmate, the guy who smelled like piss, kept randomly disappearing. I remember that. And then at one point, we were like, he's been gone for a minute. Did he fall off the train? And then he, like, reappeared in, like, the last 5 minutes. I don't know where the fuck he was. Because it doesn't matter. None of my business. I'm just told he smelled like piss. That's all I know. That's his only character trait in my head. But we got off the train, and this is where the real problems begin. So we got off the train, and we had scheduled a Lyft to pick us up, like shortly after we got off the train. However, the train arrived really early, so I remember we were kind of just sitting around the train station for like 45 minutes, and it was raining, and it was like they were doing renovations. I think it's Union Station. Is that the one in Chicago? They were doing renovations, and so there was like parts were like walled off, and there was like tarps, and there was construction people. I think we got in like 11. It was around 11, because I remember we were waiting for that damn lift. And then she couldn't find us, and we were like, we're at the train station, and she was like, I'm at the train station, and we were like, maybe we're on the other side of the train station, we're across the street from this gym or whatever. She finally found us, and then this is where the real problems start, really. Our Airbnb was only like 15 or 20 minutes from the train station, but because I was unfamiliar with Chicago traffic's, I was unfamiliar with its game, it took us like 50 minutes to get to this fucking Airbnb. And our driver, we still talk about her. She's like a character in our lore. Like, she was so odd. The first red flag was we got in the car, no music, nothing, dead silent. I don't remember if we asked for aux or if at that point we were too tired, but we quickly decided we should have asked for aux. She was really odd. She wouldn't stop talking, and at first it seemed kind of normal. We're like, oh, she's just chatty. Unfortunately, it was like 11 p.m. None of us were feeling chatty. Unfortunately, again, another unfortunate aspect of the story is that because of what I do for work, I'm really good at talking to people who don't make a lot of sense. Not necessarily don't make a lot of sense, but like, I'm really good at talking to unique people, more than I think normal people. I am good at talking to weirdos, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I just like didn't want to be rude, but I kept like engaging in the conversation. Chaz is in the front seat, dead silent. Sydney's on the other side of me in the back seat, dead silent. And I'm in the back seat making conversation. I'm like egging her on. I'm asking questions, making comments, begrudgingly engaged in this conversation. And then like the more we talked, the more she lost me. She really barely had me at the beginning, but the more we talked, the more she lost me. And again, me, Chaz, and Sydney are going crazy in the group chat. What the fuck is this lady talking about? One of the things I remember, I remember she was talking about a t-shirt business out of her church. That's irrelevant, but that's one of the things I do remember her talking about. The other thing I remember her talking about is Michelle Obama's daughter. I also thought she must be a feminist. She didn't refer to her as Barack Obama's daughter. She referred to her as Michelle Obama's daughter. But she kept calling her Layla. She was talking about Layla Obama, and we're trying to figure out who the fuck Layla Obama is. And she was talking about how she was in the park and how it was super inconvenient because they had to shut the whole park down and then helicopters had to come in and get Layla out of the park, and something about she lost her cell phone. And I'm just sitting in the back and I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get here? I used to know you so well. How did we get here? How did we get to Layla Obama? It was that was the fucking longest 45 minutes of my life. When I tell you, I don't think there was a moment of silence. Chaz was like, can someone please say something controversial? Maybe she'll shut the fuck up. Maybe we'll scare her away. I don't think it would have worked. I really don't. I think she would have just kept going. And I don't think she was even listening to me. I think she was just talking. Like me right now. I think she was just talking into the void. She didn't care if we were listening or not. And I was just, unfortunately, egging her on because I was afraid of being rude and ignoring her. So. Anyways, we finally get to the fucking Uber. Or not the Uber. We finally get to the Airbnb. And she like helps us get all our stuff out of her trunk. She wouldn't let us touch it. I understand it's your car, but she was like, I'll get your stuff out of the trunk. And I was like, okay. She put it down on the sidewalk. If you recall, it was raining. Sidewalk is damp. I didn't give a fuck at this point. I was like, I don't, put it in the dumpster for all I care, and I'll go fish it out. Like, I don't care. So, a little damp. And then our Airbnb was like, it was weird. It was like an apartment, but it's like you walk in and there's just like two separate units. And there were stairs. I assume there's more units upstairs, but it was like two separate units. And the keys to the Airbnb were like in a lockbox outside attached to a metal pole. And so we had to, first of all, the lockbox didn't really want to open. We had to like fight with it. And I had to double check. I was like, let me fucking open up the Airbnb app and make sure we're putting in the right code. We were putting in the right code, and I was like, at this point, it's like midnight. It's like midnight, and we're standing out on the street with all our stuff, fucking with this lockbox. We're tired, we're grumpy, we're hungry. We can't get the fucking lockbox open. Then we finally get it. I think it was just stuck or something. I don't remember. But we finally get it open, and then the key ring has like 15 keys on it. So we're like, which one goes to the Airbnb? There's 15 keys on here. That door only has one lock on it. So we had to stand there in the hallway while Chaz tried every single fucking key, and eventually we got in. The thing is, as soon as we walked into the hallway, we were all kind of like, what's that smell? I don't even know how to describe it. To me, it was like piss and old lady, but like not like old lady perfume, but like like when you meet an old lady and she's like not wearing, it was not old lady perfume. It smelled like old lady and also piss. Like in the hallway. We walked into the hallway and I was like, oh, and we were all kind of looking at each other and I said, you smell that, right? And they were like, yeah, I smell that. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just the hallway. Maybe someone was pissing out here. There was carpet. But we finally get to the Airbnb and it was worse in there. It smelled so fucking bad. Like, it was really stressing me out. And I don't know if it was just because I was cranky, because I was tired and hungry, and the fucking Uber driver from hell was just talking our ears off. But it smelled so bad, and it was really almost the last straw. I would also like to add that our friends were coming Thursday night for the rest of the weekend. They showed up while we were still at the festival Thursday. And we had been complaining about the smell of this fucking Airbnb because we were like, can you please bring some Febreze? And so apparently they got to the Airbnb and they were like, it doesn't smell like anything. And then we got back from the festival and it didn't smell like anything either. And I don't know what, it wasn't like the smell faded. It was like there was no smell now. And I still don't understand why that Airbnb gaslit us a little bit. We were like, was there a smell? But however, it does get worse. We finally get into the stinky Airbnb, put all our stuff down, and then we're kind of sitting around in silence in the dark. Like, I think maybe we were all just overstimulated. We were all just sitting in the dark in the living room, lights off. We're scrolling on our phones, and I don't remember which one of us, but someone said, hey guys, I'm really fucking hungry. And we were all like, huh, we didn't consider that. If we were smarter, we would have, like, I don't know. At this point, it's probably like 1:30. We had to fight with that lock, and then we kind of all sat down. We were kind of chilling for a minute. So we were like, okay, if we were smarter, we would have walked to like one of these restaurants or whatever and got some food before it was 1:30 and all of them were closed / closing. So we were like, okay, well, at first I think the idea was, okay, well, we're just gonna starve. It's fine. We'll eat in the morning. But then I was like, guys, I'm really fucking thirsty. And Sydney she got this bottle of water on the train. She had drank some of it, and there was like probably like 75% of it still in there. But we're fucking passing it around in the Airbnb, rationing it because we're all thirsty, and we're like, this water bottle is all we have. So we're fucking rationing it like we're in the desert. And we finished the water bottle. All three of us were thirsty. It's like a normal little water bottle. It got polished off pretty quick. And then we're sitting there, and I think we're all trying to gaslight ourselves into being like, I'm not thirsty anymore, and I'm for sure not hungry. Like, I'm fine. We'll just go to bed. We'll go to bed, and then everything will be fine in the morning. But the longer we sat there, I was like, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you right now. I'm really fucking thirsty. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, why didn't you just drink tap water? There's a sink. Number one, I don't know. What if there was lead pipes? I don't know this facility. And I didn't really want lead poisoning, not before Lolla. I can get lead poisoning after Lolla. I paid a lot of money to be here. I'm not getting lead poisoning before Lolla, because then I'm gonna still go, but I'm not gonna be a good time. I'm gonna kill the vibe for everyone. So I didn't want lead poisoning, so I was afraid to drink the tap water. But also, because of the smell, I don't know, the smell was just throwing me off, and I was like, the water's gonna be nasty. I couldn't handle the idea of drinking the tap water. So that left us with one option, which is to go on an adventure. And so like we googled we googled like gas station near me, because our thought was, well, it's a gas station, like it's gonna be open. Gas stations are like 24 hours usually. So we're like, okay, well, this was only my second time in Chicago. I don't remember if either of them have been before. I think Sydney has been to Chicago before, but that was only my second time in Chicago. I didn't really know like how to navigate it, if that makes sense. Whatever. We googled gas stations near us. We googled gas stations near us, and there was one like, it was like a 10-15 minute walk, and we were like, okay, is it 1:30 a.m.? Yes. Are we desperate? Also yes. I was like, guys, I just need a bag of Doritos at this point. I need a bag of Doritos and a fucking bottle of water, and I'll be happy till the morning, and then we can figure something out. So we walk to the gas station, and the gas station's like on this corner. We get to the like kitty corner, and we're like, the gas station is dark. The store is dark. that was a moment that was so devastating to me. It feels like yesterday. I just remember being like, it's dark, it's closed. Not only did we walk all the way here, but I'm still thirsty. And because of the walk, I'm even more thirsty. Luckily, it was like not, I mean, it wasn't super hot or anything, but actually, I think it was kind of humid. It was a little humid, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, because it was in like July, August. Anyways, we walked to the gas station. It's closed. I think we were in denial because we still went up to the gas station. We were kind of like, okay, maybe they just turned the lights off to conserve power or something. Maybe they're still open. We got up to the door and it was locked. So that was really disappointing. But there was like a gas station attendant in there, and Chaz was like begging him, like, can we please just come in and buy some chips? Like, I wish I had a free bag of chips. And he was like, no. And I think maybe she annoyed him so much that she was like, can I just at least buy a bottle of water? And he said, yeah, I fucking guess. So he slid a bottle of water under the little window thing. I think she slid him $2 or whatever it was. And we were like, okay, well, we have a fresh bottle of water to ration on the way back to the Airbnb. So we rationed the water. We got back to the Airbnb, and we were sitting around again. We're like at this point, it's just sad. Also, on the way to the gas station, it was like the whole neighborhood was so sus. Like everything felt so creepy. Every shadow felt creepy. We saw someone Fenty folding in the middle of the street. It was just an odd vibe. We had to walk past this park. The park was really scaring me because I was like, anything could be hiding in these bushes. And it's not like I had this paranoia because of Chicago. I have this paranoia being outside at night, especially 3 girls outside at night. I was like, this is a recipe for disaster. Someone's gonna kill us, or worse. So that was kind of scary. Walking, the Fenty fold really kind of spooked me, and then we saw a cat. That kind of spooked me too. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to see a cat, so when it was there, it was kind of a jump scare. I don't know why I thought they didn't have cats in Chicago, but so we walked back to the Airbnb, the stinky, smelly, pissy Airbnb, and then we were like, okay, well, someone around here has to be delivering pizza. Someone does. And there was only one place that we could find that was delivering pizza. Not only was it expensive, but it was like a local pizza place. So it wasn't like a Domino's or we didn't know what to expect. So we ordered a pizza, and we ordered pop. We were like, I was like, I don't care what kind of liquid it is. So we ordered pop, and we ordered pizza, and we ordered breadsticks. And then it arrived, and it was nasty. We put it in the middle of the table, and we were all kind of eating in silence, and I was like, I don't like it. And they were both like, yeah, it's not good. We still ate it because, desperation. The breadsticks, also nasty. I don't remember what that place was called, but do not recommend. I didn't enjoy. I think it was the sauce. I don't remember. There was something about it I really didn't like. But we were like, okay, maybe we'll still eat it. Like, maybe we'll be desperate enough to eat it in the morning. So we foolishly put it in the fridge, which will be a problem later. Which will be a problem when we're packing up trying to leave. A problem for me, at least. Because the Airbnb was in my name. And I have a good guest rating on Airbnb, and I couldn't tarnish that with this fucking Lolla trip. But, so we put the nasty pizza in the fridge, and that's really the end of the first night, the night from hell, which also, looking back on it, that night was so funny, because it was truly just one thing after another. Yeah, that night turned out to be like one of my favorite parts of the trip, just because it was so fucking stupid. Yeah, we went to bed. It was to the point where, like, I think I used my hoodie as a pillow. I don't know, like, maybe I was doing too much, but the way things were smelling, I was like, I can't. I think I used my hoodie, I put my hoodie on, and then I had it pulled up over my nose. I know I was probably doing too much, but I couldn't. So I had the hoodie pulled up over my nose. I think me and Sydney, I don't remember what we did. She sprayed a bunch of perfume. I remember that much, but somehow we fell asleep. We woke up in the morning, still hungry. There was an Aldi, like, just past the gas station that broke our hearts the night before. Another thing I would like to add, because I think it's really funny, but when we went to Aldi the next day, it was right past the gas station, right? So we had to take the same route on the way there. And the next morning, we're like, this is the intersection where we saw that guy Fenty folding. And then we saw, oh my God, we saw like 10 babies being pushed in strollers. Like, it got to the point where it became, dude, is that another fucking baby? Like, it turned into like a, what the fuck? Like, you're keeping count at this point? It became a bit, really, the fucking amount of babies we saw. And we were like, where are we? So we're like, okay, we'll walk to the Aldi, we'll buy some groceries, and then we'll walk back. And I think because we were on foot, we shouldn't have bought as much as we did, but I don't know, we were hungry in the Aldi, everything sounded delicious. You know how it goes when you're hungry in the grocery store. So we start throwing the shit in the cart, and I'm like, that's a gallon of milk, that's a gallon of water, that's two bottles of juice. I'm like, this is gonna be heavy on the way back. And like I said, it's like a 10-15 minute walk. And I'm like, hey guys, remember, we have to carry all this. And they were both like, no, it's fine. And I was like, okay. So we like packed everything into 3 bags, and we all miserably carried. I felt like a hobo carrying my bag over my shoulder. Like I needed the support. I needed the support of my shoulder because it was heavy, and I'm just a girl. And they had a fucking gallon of water in my bag. And all the other shit that was in there, man, it was rough. But we made it back to the Airbnb, obviously. And then we had breakfast. And then it's time for Lolla. Lolla Day 1 was, Lolla Day 1 was relatively uneventful in a good way. I think Lolla Day 1 might be my favorite day. Just because it was so chill, like, because it was on a Thursday, most people, like, most people didn't go Thursday, because, you know, people with jobs, none of us are unemployed, but we did all have, like, the ability to take time off, so, we were there Thursday. It was, like, the next day, well, the rest of the weekend was noticeably more packed than Thursday, but we went Thursday. It was really chill. I don't really remember who played Thursday. I kind of want to know, though, because I feel like I don't remember being that excited about anyone on Thursday. I just want to know who played. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not what I want either. Other trucker, dude. Okay, Thursday, the headliners were Tyler, the Creator, and Luke Combs. I think we considered going to see Tyler, the Creator. I think we walked all the way there, and then we were like, it was really packed. And I was like, I don't even really know very many Tyler, the Creator songs, and I don't think I know any of the ones he's probably gonna do here. Oh, we did. Role Model played. Chaz, of course, we had to go see Role Model with Chaz. Yeah, I don't think, on day 1, there was really no one that I cared about that played, so I was just kind of along for the ride. Yeah, I don't know these people. I mean, I know a lot of them, but I didn't care to see any of them. So we saw Role Model, and then what's cool is that after Role Model, at the same stage, Alex Warren was playing, and Sydney, that was like, I think who Sydney was most excited to see was Alex Warren. So and I think Alex Warren and Gracie Abrams were playing at the same time, and I feel like given a lot of the music artists I'm into, I should like Gracie Abrams, but she's not really for me. But so she was playing at the same time, so I think she took a lot of the Role Model crowd with her, and I remember I grabbed Sydney's hands and I said, we're getting Barricade. And we shimmied our way up there. We got Barricade for Alex Warren. That was cool. I don't really listen to Alex Warren. I didn't know any of his songs, but it was cool to be up there. And Sydney had a good time, so. But we didn't really care about Tyler, the Creator. Or did Chaz see Luke Combs? No. Wait, there was one day we ended up at Perry's. Was it Saturday? I might have been Saturday because I think Chaz might have seen Luke Combs, and I think me and Sydney sat in the grass. Maybe. Oh, Cage the Elephant was there. I think we sat in the grass. I think Saturday is when we went to Perry's. It's either Thursday or Saturday because it was just the three of us that went to Perry's. And then, so Thursday was pretty chill. It was really cool because it was day one and we didn't really know what to expect. It was super fun. Friday for me was the day, like, that was most exciting because it had the most people that I wanted to see. And Olivia Rodrigo. I've never seen Olivia Rodrigo. Like, her last tour, I could not afford tickets, so I did not see her. So I was really excited to see her at Lolla, and she was really good, and the crowd was gigantic. Like, for most of these, I did not want to be anywhere near the front because I was scared. Oh, I like that band. I didn't know them at the time, but I like that band. I wish I had known. I wish I had started listening to them earlier. Anyways, yeah, Joe played. I wanted to see him. I don't remember why I didn't. I think maybe someone else was playing that I liked. I don't remember, but I think we were nearby. I remember hearing, and when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. I remember hearing that and being like, we're in Chicago. So it was stupid, but Wallows played. I don't know if I don't remember. I should remember more of this. I don't. We might have seen Wallows. We saw T-Pain. T-Pain is who it was one of the people I was most excited for because, I had tickets to his he was doing a tour in like 2019. I had tickets and then he canceled the tour and I was like, fuck. So I was really excited to see him at Lolla. We got barricade for T-Pain. I was there for like 3 hours. I saw the act before him, which was interesting. It was Otterbach Beaver. They were interesting. They weren't for me, but they put on a good show. And then T-Pain. I was so excited. For T-Pain. So that was cool. And then Olivia Rodrigo, of course, like I said, was really good. I hung back for that one because I was like, I don't have any business up here I don't want to be in the mosh pit for Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah, that was Friday. It was Saturday that we were at Perry's because it was two friends that was there. So Saturday we didn't care about either of the headliners. Saturday was Doechii. Doechii went hard. I really enjoyed Doechii. Who else was there? Low-key, no one. We saw Doechii. That was cool. We saw Marina because Jane really likes Marina. Who else did we see? I don't remember. I only really remember the ones that I cared about. But we didn't really care about the headliners. Oh, I think Jane and Grace might have left early Saturday because I think they were leaving Sunday morning. So that's why it was just me, Chaz, and Sydney. So we didn't really care about any of the headliners. So we went to Perry's, the EDM stage, and before Perry's, I was like, I don't like EDM, and Gabe had told me like, you have to see it live to understand, and I was like, I don't know. But at Perry's, the EDM stage, that's also one of my favorite memories, if not my number one, was just Perry's. It was so fun. It was two friends, and they put on such a good show. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that time, even if Sydney peed herself a little bit. Not to put her business out there, but she did pee herself a little bit. But that was really fun. They had like fireworks, a saxophone fireworks. It was really cool. I loved Perry's. On the way back to the train station, that's when we were outside the Dunkin' dancing to Eminem while Chaz was inside peeing. I think that was that day. But that was fun. Sunday was Sunday was the worst day of the trip. Sunday I think at that point, we had spent too much time together. Maybe. There was many factors at play, but by Sunday, there was tension. There was tension in the room. I will put it this way. Me and Sydney, we took the train together. We're beefing on the train loud as fuck. We're arguing on the train loud as fuck. It's so crowded that we're standing and like pressed together. So we're arguing loud as fuck, which is embarrassing. But we had all been drinking. So we're arguing loud as fuck on the train. We get off the train and we walk back to the Airbnb. Me and Sydney on one side of the street and then Chaz and our other friend on the other side of the street. We beefed out so bad we couldn't walk on the same side of the street. Me and Sydney get back to the Airbnb first and we're like, we should lock them out. We didn't, but like we thought about it for sure. So yeah, Sunday we were beefed out. Got back to the Airbnb. Chaz and Sydney still fighting. I'm in the shower. And they were arguing when I got in the shower. They weren't being loud when I got in the shower. They were still just kind of like arguing back and forth. I'm in the shower and then I hear them arguing loudly. And then I hear a door slam and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't even want to get out the shower. It was so, I could feel the tension through the door, but you know, can't stay in the bathroom all night. So I came out. It was awkward. I think that they had both gone their separate, I think that they were both in like different rooms. So I was just kind of sitting in the living room, playing on my phone, crying a little bit because I hate arguing. And I was like, this reminds me, you're just like my mom and dad. You were like Papa. That's how it felt. It was triggering my childhood trauma. So I was sitting on the couch, crying a little bit. The argument continues into our group chat, by the way. Like we... Like, the argument did not cease when they went into separate rooms. It continued into the group chat. And I was just like, fuck. So, yeah, I know you're not supposed to go to bed angry, but everyone went to bed angry that night. And God bless our other friend's heart, because she tried so hard to, like, make peace. Which is, if I don't want to explain the context of the whole argument, because I don't want to put anybody's business out there. But the way that she, like, handled that, given what the argument was about, and given that she was kind of put in the middle of it, bless her heart. Yeah. So she's, like, trying to make peace. She comes in, she goes and talks to Sydney. Sydney's crying. She goes and talks to her. She had already talked to Chaz. And then she comes down to the living room to talk to me. And I think that my feelings were hurt, but I'm like, the way that I handle, I don't know if that's the caffeine or what. The way that I handle, like, conflict is I usually don't get angry. I usually go straight to being sad and crying. So I was upset and I was like, I don't think it was necessarily angry. I think my feelings were just really hurt. So I'm crying. I'm not taking part in the yelling. I'm just crying. Also on the train, I told Chaz to kill herself, which is too much. It's funny when you say it as a joke, but when you're arguing, when it comes out because you're arguing, too much. And as soon as I said it, I was like, on the train, crowded people, I told her to kill herself. Okay, too much, way too much. But yeah, so bless her heart, she's trying to, like, make peace. She comes to me and she's, like, trying to talk to me about it, because I think she kind of noticed that I was, like, not a part of the argument, so she thought that I was kind of, like, I don't know, a safe space. So she's, like, trying to talk to me, and, like, we're kind of trying to figure out what to do with them. And I think we came to the conclusion, and she was right. She was like, I think you guys have been together for too many days in a row. You're tired. The festival was long. It was a long stretch of days. Everybody's tired. Everybody's ready to go home. Like, she's like, I think everybody just needs to, like, to relax. And, like, I think it'll be fine once you guys get home and get some space. Which she was right for the most part. But, so we all go to bed. Next morning, we wake up. Tension is still so bad. Energy in the Airbnb, so bad. Energy in the Airbnb, somehow almost worse than the night before, because there's not even tension. No one's arguing. We're cleaning up the Airbnb in dead silence. No one's speaking. Dead silence. And this is where that fucking pizza box comes back into play. We had put it in the fridge, and I don't know what happened. Something must have spilled, or maybe the grease leaked through the box. I don't know. But I went to take the box out to throw it away, and the like cardboard part of the box was like, it was all stuck all over the fridge, all over the shelf. I'm so sorry. It was all stuck into the, like, under, it was all stuck onto the shelf in the fridge, and I had to, I was like, well, fuck. First of all, it would be really shitty of me to leave it. Second of all, the Airbnb is in my name. As I said before, I don't really want a bad rating. We got a good one, by the way. They said that we left everything but as we found it, which we did, because we did have to rearrange some things. It was an Airbnb for 4 people. There was 2 bedrooms. Me and Sydney spooned in this bedroom. Jane and her sister slept in the other bedroom. And then, right? I don't remember. Then we put 2 air mattresses in the living room, and then Chaz and our other friends slept in the living room. So, where the fuck was I going? Oh yeah, we got a good rating on the Airbnb. We put everything back, so I don't even think they ever knew that we had 6 people in there. If they did, it didn't bother them. I think the fact that we left it how we found it was okay. So yeah, there's the fucking pizza box stuck onto the fucking shelf of the fridge. So I had to go get I had some credit cards that are maxed out. The one that I used was a card that was closed. So I was using the card. I had to like scrape the cardboard part off the shelf. It was like a lot too. Like it was a big chunk and then like little piece. I was there for like 10 minutes scraping the shelf with my fucking old credit card. So we get everything into the car. Vibes in the car, still bad. I think the only people who spoke to each other were me and our other friend. But everything else, I did not like the energy that we created in the studio that day. But so we got in the car. We got I think it was 4 or 5 hour drive back to Michigan. So, you know, the bad vibes it felt like, I don't know. It was like, well, this is how this drive is going to be. Dead silence. Dead silence. I found out later, Chaz was like, yeah, my phone was dying, and I wanted to ask if either of you had a charger, but it was so uncomfortable that I thought you were just going to tell me to go fuck myself. And I had told her, like, I would let you use my charger, but I would have handed it to you in a sassy way without looking at you. I would have said, because tensions were high. And then like 30 minutes into the drive, we get a flat tire on the side of the highway. Right. Our other friend was the one driving. She pulls over and we're like, there's no fucking way we have a flat tire right now. Yeah, way. We get out, we're assessing the damage, and we couldn't figure out like why the tire went flat. So my theory is it was an act of divine intervention. I think God or the universe or Zeus or whoever you believe in, Allah, whoever you believe in, was looking down at this car and said, there's way too much fucking tension in there. I need a traumatic event to bring everyone back together. And low-key, this situation with the tire is another one of my top memories from that trip, just because it was so stupid. Again, such a stupid situation. So we got a flat tire, and then obviously we had packed her car like to the fucking brim with our shit. So we have to like take everything out on the side of the highway. I got my Squishmallow on the side of the highway, my blanket on the side of the highway, so Chaz can get to the flat tire in the trunk. She changed the tire, the lug nuts. I don't know. I was gonna say I'm not a boy. That's sexist. I'm a feminist. I don't know how to change a tire. I don't know what the anatomy of the tire is. But the little bolts that you have to take off, those were really stuck on there. So we had to like have Sydney jump on the wrench, if that's what it's called. The thing you use to get the nuts, the bolts off. we had to have Sydney jump on it to get them off. So that was another fun little memory. We changed the tire, and then we were like Googling like where to get it changed, and our other friend Googles it, and she's like, oh, we're in Gary, Indiana, which honestly, like, when we were there was nothing out of the ordinary that happened, but it has there's such a stigma to Gary, Indiana, that we were like, this would be where we would break down. This would be where we would break down. So we dropped the car off, and we're like, okay, this is gonna be a minor detour. Like, there weren't a ton of cars in the parking lot, so we were like, okay, it's not gonna be that long. And I swear to God, it ended up taking like 2 hours. Like, we walked from the tire shop to this McDonald's down the street. We got breakfast. We sat around in that McDonald's. We hee-hee-ha-ha'd because the tire brought us back together. And then we went back. We got the car. We drove home. The rest of the drive was without incident. We got home and we were like, what a trip. What a time. So that was Lolla. I do miss her. Very happy time in my life. Very happy stretch of, even with the traumatic last 24 hours of the trip being a lot. It was still a really good time. It was still a really good time. And I remember we got home and I was like, I can't wait for next year. Like, I was already like counting down the days. I'm really excited to run it back. So that was Lolla. Yeah, I don't think I'm forgetting anything exciting. The fact that none of, like, I really haven't talked about the festival almost at all is wild. Everything exciting happened outside of the festival. There was this one time where this is just funny, like a funny little thing, but I had left everyone else to go get food, and Jane checked my location and she was like, why are you walking so fast? She was like, you're walking like 7 miles an hour. And I was like, bitch, I'm hungry. But I had this, there were so many food booths. I had this one place, I don't remember what they're called now, but they had chicken and waffles, like little mini waffles and like little chicken like tenders. It was so good. I went back twice. I went the one day and then I went the next day, I think. But I was a big fan, so I was like, I need to go get my chicken and waffles. So I went, I came back. I just thought it was funny that Jane was like, why are you walking so fucking fast? I don't know, I got places to be, people to see. So there was that. It was interesting because there was like people giving away free stuff outside of the festival. Oh my God, a customer. Man, I guess that's really it for Lolla. There's not much else to say. Are they backing out? What's happening right now? Why did they move their car? Anyways, that's really all I have for Lolla. Some of the happiest days of my life. So, can't wait for next year.